Our nation and its location. See, Unit 1 India. Uh, Today we'll geography. Something about the geography we'll learn today in our discussion. It's a complete podcast on our nation and its location, time zone and facets of India. We will see here. So Republic of India or Bharat is one of the oldest civilizations in the world, spanning a period of more than 5,000 years, with a kaleidoscopic diversity as well as rich natural, historical and cultural heritage. Politically, India is a sovereign socialist, secular democratic republic with parliamentary system of government. The name India is derived from the river Indus. The word Indus originates from the Achaemenid name for the region Hindu, equivalent to Sanskrit word Sindhu. The name India was derived from the Achaemenid name for the region Hindus. The term Hindus for the river Indus river as well as an Indian are found in Herodotus' works. The ancient Greeks referred to the Indians as Indoi, which translates as the people of Indus. The name for the India in several Indian languages is variously said to be derived from the name of Dushyanta's son Bharata or Rishabha's son Bharata. At first, the name Bharata referred only to the western part of the Gangetic Valley in the North India, but was later more broadly applied to the Indian subcontinent and today to the Republic of India. At first the name Bharata referred only to the western part of the Gangetic Valley in the North India, but was later broadly applied to the Indian subcontinent and today to the Republic of India. The earliest record use of the Bharatavarsha in geographical sense is in the Hathigumpa inscription of the King Karavela. The earliest record use of the Bharatavarsha is in a geographical sense is in the Hathigumpa inscriptions of King Karavela, 1st century BCE. The Bharatavarsha means the country Varsham that lies north of the ocean and the south of the snowy mountains is called the Bharata. There dwell descendants of Bharata. These sentences in the Vishnu Purana. In traditional and legendary Hindu literature, India is called Bharata Khanda and sometimes called as Jambu Dvipa, one of the 7 concentric legendary islands comprising the earth. India is a peninsula in South Asia. India is a peninsula in the South Asia. It is bounded by the Indian Ocean on the south, Arabian Sea on the southwest, and the Bay of Bengal on the southeast. See, once again, India is a peninsula in the South Asia. It is bounded by the Indian Ocean in the south and Arabian Sea on the southwest, and then Bay of Bengal on the southeast, and the mighty Himalayas on the north. India is a country with amazing physiographic diversity, together with a plurality in the Indian language, religion, culture, and ethnicity. It is a country of second largest human resource in the world, with a population of nearly 1.3 billion people, 18% of the world population, sustaining on a very limited land resource of 2.545% of the world's land area, from the Himalayan mountains in the north to the southern sea coast of Kanyakumari, and from the Thar deserts of Rajasthan to the humid forest of the northeast. India displays a wealth of diversity in its topography, climate, soil, vegetation, ethnicity, culture, fairs, and festivals. Indeed, India is a unity in diversity. Extreme points of India. Highest peak of India is K2 or Mount Godwin Austen, 8,611 meters. Lowest point of India is Kuttanad, Kerala, 2.2 meters below the sea level. Kuttanad. Northernmost point disputed is in Kilik Pass, Karakoram Mountains. Northernmost point Indra-Kol. See, northernmost point disputed is Kilik Pass, Karakoram Mountains. Northernmost point is Indra-Kol, Ladakh. Southernmost point is Indra Point near Great Nicobar Islands. Westernmost point is Gaurmoti, Gujarat. Easternmost point is Kibitu village in Arunachal. And one more thing, in the easternmost we have Kibitu. In the northernmost, disputed if we included the disputed territory of India, it is Kilik Pass in Karakoram. Otherwise, it is Indra-Kol. In the westernmost, Gaurmoti, Gujarat. And southernmost, it is Great Nicobar, Indra Point. India is a vast, and coming to the time zone, India is a vast country with an extensive east and west extent. As its farthest points, it stretches from 2,300 as its farthest points, it stretches for nearly 2,933 kilometers or 1,822 miles from Arunachal Pradesh in the east 97 degrees 25 minutes east to Gujarat in the west to 68 degrees 7 minutes in the east, with a spread of nearly approximately 29 degrees. which is equivalent to 2 time zones. The time zone is calculated according to the longitude of 82.5 degrees east longitude at Gharwa Point or Shankargarh Fort in the Allahabad Prayagraj district of Uttar Pradesh, which was picked as a central meridian for India. India's time zone is 5 hours and 30 minutes ahead of GMT plus 5:30. It is referred to as Indian Standard Time. History of India's time zone. The time zones which were official history of India's time zones. Coming to time zones were officially established in India in 1884 during the British rule. 2 time zones were used: Bombay time zone and Kolkata time zone, due to the importance of these cities as commercial and economic centers. In addition, Madras time, set up by the astronomer John Goldingham in 1802, was followed by many railway companies. Indian Standard Time (IST) was introduced on 1st January 1906. However, Bombay time and Kolkata time continued to be maintained as a separate time zones until 1955 and 1948 respectively, after India's independence. Although India currently does not observe the daylight saving time, India does not observe. It did briefly exist during the Sino-Indian War in 1962 and India-Pakistan wars in 1965 and 1971 in order to reduce the civilian energy consumption. Coming to time problem. See, India covers almost 30 degrees of longitude. According to the convention, each time zone is equivalent to 1 hour. Each time zone is equivalent to 1 hour and is spaced 15 degrees longitude. Hence, in India could have 2 time zones. However, the government chooses to keep a single time zone across the whole country despite the various requests and proposals to change it. This means that the sun rises and sets almost 2 hours earlier on the India's eastern borders than in the run of Kutch in the forest. In northeastern India, the sun rises and sets much earlier than the sun rises and sets much earlier than the rest of the country. The sun rises in early as much as 4 a.m. and set by 4 p.m. in the northeastern India. Early sunrise leads to many loss of many daylight hours by the time offices or educational institutions open. In winter, this problem gets even more severe as the sun sets much earlier, and therefore more consumption of electricity is required to keep active life. Plantation Labor Act of 1951 allows the central and state governments to define the local time for a particular industrial plantation area. In accordance with this, Assam's tea gardens follow a separated time zone following as Chai Bagan time or tea garden time, which is 1 hour ahead of the Indian Standard Time. Laborers generally work in the 1 hour ahead of the Indian Standard Time. Laborers generally work in the tea gardens from 9 a.m. that is 8 a.m. Indian Standard Time to 5 p.m. 9 a.m. Plantation Labor Act allows the central and state governments to define and set a local time for particular industrial or plantation area. In accordance with this, Assam tea gardens follow a separated time zone known as Chai Bagan time and or tea garden time, which is 1 hour ahead of Indian Standard Time. Laborers generally work in the tea gardens at 9 a.m. to coming to 9 a.m. According to Indian Standard Time, it is 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. According to Indian Standard Time, it is 4 p.m. This system was introduced during the British rule, keeping in mind the early sunrise in the part of the India. In 2001, government established a 4-member committee under the Ministry of Science and Technology to examine the need for multiple time zones and the day and night saving. The committee did not recommend changes to the unified system. In 2014, the Assam government, led by the Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi, started campaigning for another time zone for northeastern states, but it was put down by the central government as it was keen to retain one time zone to prevent the time confusion and safety issues such as in regard to railway operations and flights. Another study by the research scholars at Cornell University, published in January 2019, estimates that India's single time zone causes it to incur annual human capital cost of Another study by the research scholar at Council University, published in January 2019, estimates that India's single time zone causes it to incur annual human capital cost of about 4.1 billion, nearly 29,000 crore rupees, or 0.2% of the nominal gross domestic product. Professor D.P. Sengupta and Dilip Ahuja of the National Institute of Advanced Studies claim that advancing Indian Standard Time by half an hour would resulting in saving of 2.7 billion units of electricity every year. two time zone a necessity in India. For well-being and efficiency of the populace, the working hours should be within the appropriate slots of the for well-being and efficiency of the populace, the working hours should be within the appropriate slots of the circadian clock or biological clock. A strong demand for separate time zone by the northeast populace had been a matter of great debate for a very long period. However, a very few implementable solutions to this genuine problem have been proposed. In 2017, Department of Science and Technology indicated that they are once again studying regarding this Indian two time zone issues. Feasibility of two time zones for India. Proposals for creating an additional Eastern time zone, that is EIT, at UTC plus 6, shifting the default Indian Standard Time to 5 UTC plus 5, and daylight saving time what are the proposals for creating an additional Eastern Indian Time EIT at UTC, Universal Time UTC plus 6 hours, shifting the default Indian Standard Time to UTC plus 5, and the daylight saving time starts on 14th April, and the daylight saving time starts on 14th April Ambedkar Jayanti and ending on 2nd October Gandhi Jayanti. So this can be followed. It is a proposal. The Council of Scientific or CSIR NPL, National Physical Laboratory in the Measurement Institute of India, it maintains the standards of SI units in India, and it is a custodian of the Indian Standard Time. In 2018, National Physical Laboratory proposed an implementable solution that puts the country in the two time zones, that is UTC plus 5.5 IST1, that is UTC plus 5.5 hours, represented by the longitude passing through 82.5 30 degrees east, covering the regions falling in between the longitude of 68.5 7 degree east and 89 degree 52 degree east, and IST2 UTC plus 6.5 hours, representing by the longitude passing through 97 30 east, encompassing the regions between the 18 and 52 east to 97 25 east. The proposed recommendations of the two time zones are based on the importance of the sunrise and the sunset timings on the biological activities. So see the importance of the sunrise and the importance of the sunrise and the sunset timings on the biological activities of the living beings. Simple analysis of synchronizing the sunrise and the sunset timings across the country to the usual office hours of 9 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. Minimization of spatial extension at the proposed border of time demarcation so as to avoid any kind of railway accidents, and minimization of spatial extension of a proposed border of time demarcation so as to avoid any kind of railway accidents if the proposed time zones would be beneficial for electricity savings, and also technical implementation mechanisms of the proposed two new time zones in the country. So the proposed recommendations of the two time zones are based on the 5 parameters, that is proposed recommendations of why we have to have two time zones are importance of sunrise and sunset timings on the biological activities of living beings. Next is simple analysis of synchronizing the sunrise and sunset timings across the country to usual office hours of 9 to 5:30 p.m. like that, and minimization of spatial extension at the proposed border of time demarcation so as to avoid any kind of railway accidents. Next is if proposed time zones would be beneficial for electricity saving, and the technical implementation of the mechanisms of the proposed two new time zones in the country. The proposed demarcations line between the IST1 and IST2 falling on the longitude 89 degree 52 east is derived from the analysis of synchronizing the circadian clocks to the normal office hours of 9 to 5:30 p.m. This demarcation line passes through the border of West Bengal and Assam and has a narrow spatial extension. That is, a demarcation passes through the border of West Bengal and Assam and has a narrow spatial extension, which makes it easier to implement and railways point of view also. So once approved, the implementation would require the establishment of a laboratory for primary time ensemble, that is IT, generating the IST2 in any of the northeastern states, which would be equivalent to the existing primary time ensemble 1 at CSIR NPL New Delhi. That is 82 and 33 degrees currently Mirzapur, 89 degree 52 degrees is West Bengal and Assam border. IST1 and IST2, IST1 is UTC plus 5:30 and IST2 is UTC plus 6:30. CSIR NPL is a Council of Scientific and Industrial Research National Physical Laboratory. IST 1 and 2 are Indian Standard Time 1 and 2, and BIPM is a Indian Bureau of Weights and Measurements, it is BIPM, located in Servus, France. BIPM has a practical scale of time known as International Atomic Scale for a continuous temporal reference of time. So, what is this circadian or biological time, rhythm, and physiological process? See, in 2017, Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine was awarded to Jeffrey Hall, Michael Rosbaugh. In 2017, Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine was awarded to Jeffrey Hall and Michael Rosbaugh and Michael Young for elucidating the plants, animals and human adapt their biological rhythm so that it is synchronized with the Earth's revolutions. They established that the biological species are ruled by the internal clocks, biological clocks that run on 24-hour light-dark cycle in a synchronization with the sun. They isolated a gene that controls the normal daily biological rhythm and have shown that this gene encodes a protein. So, they isolated a gene that controls the normal daily biological rhythm and have shown that this gene encodes a protein which accumulates in the cell during the night and degrades during the day. As a result, the metabolic, hormonal, central nervous system and the neurotransmitter system operates in rhythm with each other. Due to this synchronization, for example, humans fall asleep at night and plants synthesize chlorophyll in the presence of sunlight. The biological clock is so active that when we move from one time zone to another time zone, it forces us to sleep at an unusual time. This is commonly known as jet lag, and it requires few days to resynchronize our biological clock with the local solar timings. With exquisite precision, the biological clocks adapt the physiology to the dramatically different phases of the day. The hormone melatonin secreted from the pineal glands. Melatonin is secreted from the pineal glands located in the brain, controls the sleep-wake cycle relative to the light-dark cycle. As shown in the figure, the melatonin secretion starts approximately 3 hours after the sunset. 3 hours after the sunset and secrets for about 10 hours following a particular distribution pattern. This maximizes during the midway of the secretion, resulting in the deepest sleep around 2 a.m. The highest alertness is achieved for about 4 hours after sunrise. And the best coordination is achieved at 3 p.m. after the sunset. Fatigue starts creeping in due to the increased blood pressure and the body temperature. Therefore, in order to make people work efficiently and be productive, it is necessary that the working hours should be synchronous to the biological clock as shown in the figure. In this case, the working hours of 9 a.m. 5:30 p.m. 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. suits the cardiac rhythm. This is why most of the advanced countries like US follows multiple time zones. This allows synchronized cardiac rhythm, which with a light-dark cycle and provides the necessary comfort to its citizens and maximizes their working efficiency. If the circadian rhythm is not synchronous to the light-dark sunlight cycle, the working efficiency of the people will be compromised. For example, if the sun rises much earlier than the office hours, the phase of the highest alertness gets wasted. And the best coordination time would overlap with the lunch timings. In addition, a major part of a late office hours cannot be efficiently utilized due to the fatigue. Similarly, for the late sunrise, people are not fully awake during the office hours, since the melatonin secretion has not stopped yet. Keeping these concerns in mind, it is evident that human circadian rhythm is intimately tied to health, well-being, and efficiency at work, which in turn it is intimately related to the overall socio-economic development of the region. It is therefore essential that local time zones is set in such a way that the regular day-to-day activities of the populace become synchronous to the light and dark cycles of the solar day. When coming to the facets of India, what are the features of India? Coming to the preamble of the Indian Constitution, the preamble to the Constitution of India is a brief introductory statement that sets out guidelines which guide the people and the policymakers of the nation. The preamble is the source from which the Constitution derives its authority. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, to secure all its citizens justice, socio-economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, ensuring the dignity of an individual and integrity of dignity of an individual, and the unity and integrity of a nation. In our Constituent Assembly, the 26th of November 1949, to hereby adopt, enact, and give ourselves this Constitution. Once again, I will read the preamble of the Indian Constitution. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India, we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure all its citizens justice, socio-economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, faith, of liberty of thought, expression, belief, thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, ensuring the dignity of an individual and unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, the 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. Coming to the national anthem of India, the song Jana Gana Mana, composed originally in the Bangla by Rabindranath Tagore, was adopted in its Hindi version by the Constituent Assembly as the national anthem of India on January 24th, 1950. It was the first sung on December 27th, 1911 at a Calcutta session on the Indian National Congress. That is, it was first sung on December 27th in 1911 at Calcutta session of the Indian National Congress. The complete song consists of 5 stanzas. The first stanza consists of full version of the national anthem. See, I'll read that. See, the national anthem song Jana Gana Mana, composed of originally in the Bangla by Rabindranath Tagore, adopted in its Hindi version by the Constituent Assembly as the national anthem of India on 24th January 1950. It was first sung on December 27th, 1911 at the Calcutta session of the Indian National Congress. The complete song consists of 5 stanzas. The first stanza contains full version of the national anthem. The first stanza contains a full version of the national anthem. It was first sung on December 27th, 1911 at the Calcutta session of the Indian National Congress. Jana Gana Mana Adhinayaka Jaya He Bharata Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindhu Gujarat Amarata Dravida Utkala Vanga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Uchala Jaladita Ranga Tava Shubha Name Jage Tava Shubha Asisa Mage गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे. That is national anthem. Jana Gana Mana is a national anthem. The playing time of the full version of the national anthem is approximately 52 seconds. Then coming to the national emblem. The national emblem of India is an adaptation of the lion capital of Ashoka at Sarnath, preserved in the Sarnath Museum near Varanasi in India. In the original, the lion capital has 4 lions mounted back to back. In Sarnath Museum, Varanasi lo Sarnath capital of Ashoka. In the original, lion capital has 4 lions mounted back to back on the circular abacus. Frieze of the abacus is adorned with sculptures in the high relief of an elephant. See, the national emblem of India is an adaptation of the lion capital of Ashoka at Sarnath, preserved in the Sarnath Museum near Varanasi in India. In the original, the lion capital has 4 lions mounted back to back on a circular abacus. The frieze of the abacus is adorned with sculptures in the high relief of elephant, a galloping horse, bull, and lion, separated by an intervening dharmachakra. The abacus rests on bell capital lotus. The profile of the lion capital showing 3 lions mounted on the abacus with the dharmachakra in the center, a bull on the right, and a galloping horse on the left outlines the dharmachakra on the extreme right, and outlines of dharmachakra on the extreme right and the left was adopted on the state emblem of India on January 26, 1950. The bell capital lotus was omitted. The motto Satyameva Jayate, truth only triumphs, written in Devanagari script below the profile of the lion capital is a part of the state emblem of India. In the state emblem lies the official seal of the government of India. Its use is regulated by the state emblem of India. Its use is regulated by the state emblem of India. Prohibition of Improper Use Act of 2005. The state emblem of India. Regulation of Use Rules 2007 with amendment rules of 2010. See, that is the state emblem lies an official in the state emblem lies the official seal of the government of India. In the state emblem lies the official seal of the government of India. Its use is regulated by the state emblem of India. Prohibition of Improper Use Act of 2005. The state emblem of India. Regulation of Use, regulation of rules of 2010, 2007 and amendment rules of 2010. National song Vande Mataram is a Bengali poem written by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee in 1870s, which he included in his 1882 novel Anand Math. The poem was composed into a song by Rabindranath Tagore. The song was a source of inspiration to the people in their struggle for freedom. The poem was composed into a song by Rabindranath Tagore. The song was a source of the inspiration to the people in their struggle for freedom. The 1896 session of Indian National Congress was the first political occasion when it was sung. The first two verses of the song were adopted as a national song of India in October 1937 by the Congress Working Committee prior to the end of the colonial rule in August 1947. It shares equal status with the Jana Gana Mana. See, when coming to the national song, that is national anthem, the complete song consists of 5 stanzas. The first stanza contains the full version of the national anthem. See, the first stanza contains the full version of the national anthem. This is the first stanza. He composed, the Jana Gana Mana is composed, total song completes of 5 stanzas, but the first stanza contains the full version of a national anthem. When coming to the national song, the first verse of the song, see, Vande Mataram total song is done by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee in 1860 in Bengali poem 1970s and 1882 Anand Math novel he included, and the poem was composed into a song by Rabindranath Tagore. The song was a source of the inspiration to the people of the struggle of the freedom. And 1896 session, the Indian National Congress was first a political occasion when it was sung. The first two verses of the song were adopted. As a national song of India. That is in October 1937. The first two verses of the song were adopted as a national song in India in October 1937 by the Congress Working Committee prior to the end of the colonial rule in August 1947. It shares equal status with the Jana Gana Mana. The following are its two verses like Vande Mataram, Sujalam, Sufalam, Malayaja Sitalam, Sasyasyaamalam, Mataram, Vande Mataram, Shubhra Joshna, Pulakitayamini, Fullakusumita, Drumadala Shobhinim, Shubhasinim, Sumadurabhasinim, Sukadham Varadham Mataram, Vande Mataram. See, the national flag. The national flag shall be the tricolor Tiranga panel made up of 3 rectangular panels or sub-panels of equal width. The color of the top panel shall be of India's saffron kesari, and that of the bottom panel India green. The middle panel shall be white, wearing all its center the design of Ashoka Chakra in the navy blue color with 24. The national flag shall be the tricolor Tiranga panel made up of 3 rectangular panels of sub-panels of equal width. The color of the top panel shall be the saffron kesari, and that of the bottom panel is India is green. The middle panel shall be white, bearing its center the design of the Ashoka Chakra in a navy blue color with 24 equally spaced spokes. The Ashoka Chakra shall be preferably the screen printed or otherwise printed on stenciled or suitably embroidered, and shall be completely visible on both sides of the flag in the center of the white panel. The national flag, the Ashoka Chakra, shall be preferably be screen printed or otherwise printed or stenciled or suitably embroidered, and shall be completely visible on both sides of the flag in the center of the white panel. The national flag shall be rectangular in shape. The ratio of the length of the height to width of the flag shall be height to width ratio is height to width ratio should be 3:2. Mm, the design of the national flag was adopted by the Constituent Assembly on July 22nd, 1947. The flag is based on the Swaraj flag, a flag of Indian National Congress designed by Pingali Venkayya. By law, the flag is to be made by the khadi, a special type of hand-spun cloth or silk, made popular by Mahatma Gandhi. The manufacturing process and the specifications for the flag are laid out in the Bureau of Indian Standards. The right to manufacture the flag is held by the Khadi Development and Village Industries Commission, who allocates it to the regional groups. As of 2009, the Karnataka Khadi Gramodaya Samyukta Sangha KKGSS has been the sole manufacturer of the flag. It is based in the Hubli in Karnataka, a state in India. It is the only unit in India that is authorized to manufacture and supply the flag of India. The cloth needed for the flag is sourced from KKGSS unit in Balakot, Karnataka. The Flag Code of India 2002 is an attempt to bring together all such laws, conventions, practices, and instructions for the guidance of all the concerned regarding this national calendar based on the Sakaira with Chaitra as its, when coming to the national calendar based on the Sakaira with Chaitra as its first month or a normal year of 365 days was adopted from March 22nd, 1957 along with the Gregorian calendar or the following official purposes. See, when coming to national calendar was based on the Sakaira with the Chaitra as its first month with the nominal and the normal year of 365 days was adopted from March 22nd, 1957 along with the Gregorian calendar for the purpose of the following official purposes. See, the national calendar was based on the Sakaira with Chaitra as its first month and a normal year of 365 days was adopted from March 22nd, 1957 along with Gregorian calendar for the following official purposes like Gazette of India, news broadcast by All India Radio, calendars issued by the Government of India, and government communication addressed to the public. So national calendar was based on the Sakaira with the Chaitra as its first month and the normal year of 365 days was adopted from March 22nd, 1957 along with the Gregorian calendar. The dates of the national calendar have a permanent correspondence with the dates of the Gregorian calendar. The dates of the national calendar have a permanent correspondence with the dates of the Gregorian calendar. First Chaitra falling on the March 22nd normally and March 21st in a leap year. 12 months in Hindu lunar calendar: Chaitra, Vaishakam, Jeshtam, Ashadam, Shravanam, Bhadrapadam, Ashvajam, Kartikam, Chaitram, Vaishakam, Jeshtam, Ashadam, Shravanam, Bhadrapadam, Ashvajam, Kartikam, Mahagam, Pushya, Kartikam, Margashiram, Pushyam, Magam, Bhalgunam. Seasonals, regional seasons, Ritu. We know that the Indian continent experiences 6 ecological seasons like Vasanta Ritu, Grishma Ritu, Varsha Ritu, Sharad Ritu, Hemant Ritu, and Shishir Ritu. Vasanta Ritu is a spring season, February 19th to April 19th, and Grishma Ritu is a summer season, April 20 to June 21st. Varsha Ritu, monsoon, from June 22nd to August 22nd. Sharad Ritu, autumn, August 23rd to October 22nd. Hemant Ritu, pre-winter, October 23rd to December 21st. Shishir Ritu, winter, December 22nd to February 18th.